Dear friends in Afghanistan and around the world, welcome to Afghans Learning English. In this lesson, we learn how to describe things using adjectives. Here is a man. He is a young man. The word man is our noun. The word young is an adjective that tells us more about the man. He is also a handsome young man. The word handsome is another adjective. He is also a rich, handsome young man. He is the rich, handsome young man who wants to marry your daughter. If he is also a kind, friendly, polite man, you might agree to the wedding. Here is a car. It is a shiny, new, expensive car. Unlike this car, which is an old, rusty car. Here are some kebabs. These are hot, juicy kebabs you eat with naan. Then you can have sweet cold ice cream for dessert. Now let's look at an example from the Holy Bible, which you can find online at BibleGateway.com. Look at the Old Testament and the book of 1 Samuel chapter 17. You can click on the link in the description below to go straight to that chapter. This is part of the famous story of the young boy David fighting the fierce giant Goliath. You will see the adjectives underlined and the nouns they connect to in blue. The Philistines now mustered their army for battle and camped between Soko in Judah. Saul countered with a buildup of forces at Elah Valley. So the Philistines and Israelites faced each other on opposite hills, with the valley between them. Goliath, a Philistine champion from Gath, came out of the Philistine ranks to face the forces of Israel. He was a giant of a man, measuring over 9 feet tall. He wore a bronze helmet, a 200-pound coat of mail, bronze leggings, and carried a bronze javelin several inches thick, tipped with a 25-pound iron spearhead, and his armor-bearer walked ahead of him with a huge shield. He stood and shouted across to the Israelites, "Do you need a whole army to settle this? I will represent the Philistines, and you choose someone to represent you, and we will settle this in single combat. If your man is able to kill me, then we will be your slaves. But if I kill him, then you must be our slaves. I defy the armies of Israel. Send me a man who will fight with me." When Saul and the Israelite army heard this, they were dismayed and frightened. David had 7 older brothers. The 3 oldest had already volunteered for Saul's army to fight the Philistines. David was the youngest son and was on Saul's staff on a part-time basis. As David was talking with his brothers, he saw Goliath, the giant, step out from the Philistine troops and shout his challenge to the army of Israel. As soon as they saw him, the Israelite army began to run away in fright. "Have you seen the giant?" the soldiers were asking. "He has insulted the entire army of Israel. And have you heard about the huge reward the king has offered to anyone who kills him? And the king will give him one of his daughters for a wife, and his whole family will be exempted from paying taxes." David talked to some others standing there to verify the report. "What will a man get for killing this Philistine and ending his insults to Israel?" he asked them. "Who is this heathen Philistine anyway, that he is allowed to defy the armies of the living God?" Someone told King Saul, and the king sent for him. "Don't worry about a thing," David told him. "I'll take care of this Philistine." "Don't be ridiculous," Saul replied. "How can a kid like you fight with a man like him? You are only a boy, and he has been in the army since he was a boy." But David persisted. "When I am taking care of my father's sheep," he said, "and a lion or a bear comes and grabs a lamb from the flock, I go after it with a club and take the lamb from its mouth. If it turns on me, I catch it by the jaw and club it to death. I have done this to both lions and bears, and I'll do it to this heathen Philistine too, for he has defied the armies of the living God. The Lord who saved me from the claws and teeth of the lion and the bear will save me from this Philistine." Saul finally consented. "All right, go ahead," he said, "and may the Lord be with you." Then David picked up 5 smooth stones from a stream and put them in his shepherd's bag and, armed only with his shepherd's staff and sling, started across to Goliath. Goliath walked out toward David with his shield-bearer ahead of him, sneering in contempt at this nice little red-cheeked boy. "Am I a dog," he roared at David, "that you come at me with a stick?" And he cursed David by the names of his gods. "Come over here and I'll give your flesh to the birds and wild animals," Goliath yelled. David shouted in reply, "You come to me with a sword and a spear, but I come to you in the name of the Lord of the armies of heaven and of Israel, the very God whom you have defied. Today the Lord will conquer you, and I will kill you and cut off your head, and the whole world will know that there is a God in Israel, and Israel will learn that the Lord does not depend on weapons to fulfill his plans. He works without regard to human means. He will give you to us." As Goliath approached, David ran out to meet him, and reaching into his shepherd's bag, took out a stone, hurled it from his sling, and hit the Philistine in the forehead. The stone sank in, and the man fell on his face to the ground. So David conquered the Philistine giant with a sling and a stone. Since he had no sword, he ran over and pulled Goliath's from its sheath and killed him with it, and then cut off his head. When the Philistines saw that their champion was dead, they turned and ran. Goliath learned the hard way not to oppose the true God. David latter became the king of Israel and also wrote many of the Psalms. Now it is quick quiz time. You hear about a cheap house for sale, but when you go see it, you are disappointed. Which adjectives are correct? If you selected, "It's an ugly old house," then you are correct. You are buying some gold jewelry for a wedding. Which adjectives are correct? If you selected, "That is a beautiful, expensive necklace," then you are correct. What did we learn today? In English, we can use adjectives to tell us more details about a noun. We also learned that God will make his plans happen no matter how strong those are who oppose him. If you want to see more content from Afghans Learning English, please subscribe to this channel. To read today's story in your own language, go to afghanbibles.org. There is a link in the description below that will take you straight to 1 Samuel 17 in either Dari or Pashto. That is all for this lesson. Go in peace.